Yes, villagers, today we're going to be giving you 4 ways for you to have more power and say so in your own life. If you want to find out if your view is represented among the four, you are in the right place. If you're new to this channel, welcome to our village. If you're a returning villager, welcome as well. So, let's get into it. Welcome to Garden of the Mind, where we reduce stress, improve our health and fitness, and improve our financial IQ every episode. We must believe more than we see. Many of us, when we were children, said, "In this year, I'm going to be this amount of years old." If you've done that, you've also thought about the power that you should have at that particular age. If somehow you don't feel like you have the power that should have come along with that age, we're going to give you 4 ways to help you do that. Tip number 1, don't explain why you can't meet an obligation. Now, this does not apply to work. But if you're supposed to meet a friend and something suddenly comes up where you're not able to meet the friend, call that friend up and let the friend know that you are not able to meet with them. Now, they might say, why? What happened? All of these details that they might want to know about. If you supply these details, understand you are getting into a conversation. And once you get into that conversation, they're going to look to scrutinize your reason for not coming. That's going to open up the doors for you to be criticized. If each time you can't make it, you explain why you can't make it, think about why you're doing that. Are you trying to justify to people that you're a good person and that if there's a reason for you not making it, it's this valid reason? Why do you explain these things to people? You don't have to. If you start providing an explanation, people start to feel like they're owed an explanation. And then the next time you tell them that you can't make it, they'll ask you questions and want to know why and maybe even demand. If people are making demands on your life, it kind of decreases your power. So don't give people the opportunity to make demands in your life by setting them up on a pattern that allows them access that they shouldn't have. But mostly in personal situations, you don't have to feel the need to explain or justify why a no is no. No is a complete sentence, but only if you start out using no as a complete sentence. If you start out explaining, then people are going to expect more once you say no. Tip number 2, don't oblige yourself too early. What do I mean by that? Do you have that friend that calls you up and say, "What are you doing on Saturday?" Well, when they ask, "What are you doing on Saturday?" they hope to try to decrease your defenses so when they ask this favor, then you can't say no. So don't give you any information out before it's time. Don't tell them all the things that you have to do on Saturday so that they can determine whether you can do what it is that they're asking you. That puts them in control of your schedule, and we certainly don't want to do that. One of the ways to combat that is when someone says, "Well, what are you doing on Saturday?" Ask information before you give information. So find out from them, what do you have going on Saturday? What hours are you talking about? That gives you the opportunity to still maintain the power and still be friendly without causing a situation that might create an argument. Tip number 3, provide a time frame for assistance. Example, what are you doing on Saturday? Well, I need you to help me move. Well, I can give you 2 hours on Saturday. So make sure that when you provide your assistance, you provide it from a beginning time and an end time. Now, none of these things work unless you make them work. If you don't stick to your own time frame, people are not going to respect the time frame in which you are giving. So ensure that if you say, "I'm going to assist you for 2 hours, let it be 2 hours and no more than that." Tip number 4, find solutions to reoccurring problems. What do I mean by that? Every time I go to the store, that becomes an invitation for everyone in my house to ask me to purchase something for them. I may not always want to have to purchase something for someone. How do I do that without being rude? Now, I can go to my family and let them know that when I go to the store, I will not be purchasing items at the last minute. That helps to solve the problem. So the next time someone comes and asks me for something else, I can simply let them know that I will not be purchasing last minute items. Anytime you find yourself annoyed at a person and saying, you always do this, every time I do this, then you do that. If you recognize that pattern, so that's the perfect time for you to say, when I do A, I will not be accepting B during that time. This is one way for you to stop that annoying knee-jerk reaction that when I do A, a person automatically does B. You can set the terms and say, listen, when I do A, I will not be accepting B at this point. We can talk about that at another time. Most of the times when it comes to us getting power in our lives, it's usually that we have given it away and didn't even realize that we have done so. So pay attention to how you are giving your power. Example, don't complain about a request and still grant that request. That takes away your power and undermines your authority later on down the line, because the person knows that if they were to ask you or make this request, you're going to complain, but you'll grant it anyway. So don't complain if you're going to grant it anyway. Either you're going to grant the request or not grant the request. If you grant the request, then there's no problem. If you don't grant the request, don't justify your actions. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you want to know when I post, which is Wednesday, and I apologize for last Wednesday, click on that notification bell. You get that ding on your phone, and you know that a new video is waiting for you. And remember, thoughts are actions, words have power, and actions have consequences. I'll see you next week. I'll see you then.